the fifth kind. Check out our official website at www.thefifthkind.com, where you can sign up to receive our latest newsletters, stories, and select featured content that is only available on alternative platforms.
I've been a preacher for more than 30 years. I've studied and taught through the Book of Genesis many, many times in churches all around the world, and I've trained pastors in the skills of interpreting texts. Enoch walked with the Elohim, walked with the powerful ones, to translate it. And then he was not, because
he walked with the fallen ones, and he said that they had a leader, and the leader told the rest of the ones underneath him to teach them languages and sciences of the fallen ones. And then they went down to earth and started kidnapping people. Still do it to this day and forcing them to have babies, Nephilim babies. They still doing it to this day.
Powerful ones took him away. The Book of Enoch unpacks what walking with the powerful ones meant, and unpacks it in astonishing detail. 200 watchers coming to planet Earth and hybridizing with human females, resulting in giants. Well, that's a narrative that you can find repeated. It's there in Genesis 6, but it's there in the narratives of cultures all around the world.
The Book of Enoch, Mamiwata, and Alien Abductions. In 1984, a 26-year-old woman appeared on the beach of Anloga, a coastal town in the Kita district of the Volta region of Ghana, West Africa. When she walked into her family home, her relatives embraced her with joy and confusion. She had been missing for 3 years. Her family was full of questions. Why had she vanished? Where had she gone? And what had happened to her in the intervening years? The story the young woman told them left her family worried and confused. The young woman explained that she had been kidnapped while walking on the beach and taken to a community far away where she had been held captive. She had lived among her captors for 3 years, and in that time had been forced to bear children. But the most shocking part of the young woman's story was still to come. Her family pressed her to tell them where she had been living, why she hadn't been able to contact them, and who had taken her. Finally, she told them. She had been taken from the beach to an underwater base. The people had taken her in order for her to produce children. And most disturbing of all, the people who had taken her were not human. They were the Mamiwata people.
You can find the
Those what they call mermaids, but they're actually not pretty. They're ugly as hell, mad ugly. They freaking hairy, sharp teeth looking demons. Now, I'm pretty sure that technology to confuse you to make you think they look pretty, but they really don't. They're ugly with sharp teeth. In the deepest pits of the ocean, which is basically, you call that hell, because it's so far that you can't go and certain animals can't go. And they are beasts. They are beasts.
Water tradition all up the western seaboard of Africa and into the Caribbean. And it takes different forms in different places, and different names are used in different parts of the world, but it's all essentially the same story. On first hearing, it sounds like Western stories of mermaids or the Greek story of the sirens. The Mamiwata people are described as very beautiful, often female.
The sirens, they come up at the top of the ocean. They say they can camouflage and make them look like something that they ain't. Cloak themselves, or they make them look like something that they not. Make you think they're pretty when they're not. They're actually ugly creatures with sharp teeth. They will eat you. They will kidnap you and do worse things to you than that.
And they abduct people near the water's edge. Now, you might think, well, that just sounds like some kind of a cautionary tale to tell the young men to behave and not be tempted, or to stay safe and not go near the water. But what interests me about this tradition is that it is thousands of years old, long before the name Mamiwata was given to it. And in particular, what intrigues me is this narrative of abductions, which goes back thousands upon thousands of years. Now, what this young lady told her family was in no way a story of convenience. My family is actually 1 degree removed from that family, and I can tell you that she did not tell that story to help herself. If you think about it, somebody presenting with a story like that, it's not going to help them. It's not going to help them be accepted. It's not going to help them get a job. They're more likely to be locked up and medicated. People know that, and so when they are prepared to share a story like that, it merits that we listen to it with respect. And the fact that this narrative is so wide and goes back so far suggests to me that we need to give it some more serious attention. It's actually part of a bigger narrative and an even more ancient one. And I'm talking about the Book of Enoch.
The origins of the Book of Enoch are rooted in the Hebrew tradition. Scholars generally agree that the various parts of the Book of Enoch were authored in the second.
And the white folks, they just show it's not Hebrew. Those are Ashkenazis, Khazarians, the seed of the devil, the children of the devil, the kids of the devil, the synagogue of Satan, that dislike their father, who is the devil, like the Creator said. Period. And thank you, Creator. And I rebuke all those names and all the other stuff too.
And 3rd centuries BCE. The writing may have encapsulated an oral tradition going even further back in history. The book is titled with the name of Enoch. According to the Book of Genesis, Enoch.
Now you're wondering how come they try to make Enoch sounding like he's making these things sound good, but the fact is Enoch wasn't. There's 2 different Enochs. There's Cain's Enoch and there's Shim's Enoch. Okay? Period. There's Cain Enoch, who was a devil, and Cain named his son Enoch after Enoch, Shem's son, on purpose to cause confusion. And that's why you start hearing Enoch try to make them sound good. That is Cain's Enoch that injected into that book to confuse you, because the real Enoch, Shem's Enoch, let you know that they were evil and they were cursed. There's no forgiveness for them. He was the one that had to go deliver the message because the Creator told him to.
Was the father of Methuselah, who was the father of Lamech.
It was him and two or three others all together. They prayed the whole time while they were going down deep into where the devil was locked up at.
Who was the father of Noah.
Enoch is probably the world's first abductee, albeit probably a willing one. There's a section in the book where Enoch is given a year's notice before being taken away from his family. If I read about Enoch in the book of Genesis, I'll find him in chapter 5, where it says this: Enoch walked with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away.
There's the problem with that. Enoch, the Creator. Enoch knew the Creator existed inside of him. Enoch knew that the Creator was not a man or woman. Enoch knew the Creator was not a physical being. Those things that he got in the ship was physical. Therefore, Enoch did not walk with the Creator on no ship. Enoch was among the fallen ones, because G-O-G means dog, and it stands for the devil. Okay? So you can interpret, was it Cain's Enoch on that ship? Or was it Shem's Enoch? Because Shem Enoch told us that these guys were bad. Cain's Enoch would have hung out with them. Let's keep going.
My book, Escaping from Eden, argues that that's actually a mistranslation. The text is about the Elohim, and the word Elohim often gets translated as God, but it is a plural form word, and it takes plural verbs. So the way that text really reads is that Enoch walked with the Elohim,
Oh, so Enoch walked with the Anunnaki, demons. Okay? And they tried to interject Cain's Enoch to make it seem like he was walking with something else. There you go. The real Enoch, Shem's Enoch, was walking with the what? Nephilim demons, or the Anunnaki demons, who the Creator was calling them at. Well, people named them this at the time. Okay, and that means more than one, plural. Many of, legions. Why did he do that? Because at one point, they were supposed to be doing good. But then, they started doing bad, and that's why they asked Shim's Enoch, not Kane's Enoch, to plead their case to the Creator. The Creator told Shim's Enoch to tell them that they're totally fucked, no forgiveness for them.
With the powerful ones, to translate it. And then he was not, because the powerful ones took him away. Now that's in effect a summary of the story of Enoch from the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch unpacks what walking with the powerful ones meant, and unpacks it in astonishing detail.
The Book of Enoch comprises several works. In the Book of Watchers, Enoch tells the story of human females being abducted and impregnated by beings who arrive on Earth from their stations in the sky.
So they take them to the stations in the sky, which is known as the fiery red ships, as y'all keep saying it's the created ships, but it's actually not. Okay, they are the Watchers, the one that left their estate, the first place. Is why the Creator got mad at them, and then they what? Start raping people on their spaceships, same thing they do today, and the Creator punished them for it because they was changing what the Creator made, and now they're doing it different ways. You know what I'm talking about?
Sky. It goes on to describe the writer's journeys through the cosmos, discovering truths previously hidden from humanity concerning other dimensions. The Book of Parables speaks more of Enoch's journeys and speaks of God's judgment of the Watchers and plans for humanity. It holds out the promise of a heavenly Messiah. In the Book of Heavenly Luke.
Now, that's the stuff that they put in there. It does not hold out no promise, no heavenly, anything like that. Bullshit. The Creator had many sons with an S, plural. We had many prophets that all told you with an S the same thing many times over, and you just simply didn't listen. Just like today, there's many prophets on the earth, many teachers telling you what's really going on, and many of you are not listening today.
Luminaries, Enoch is shown around the galaxy by an entity called Uriel. Whether through a physical journey, or astral travel, or simple
which is one of the following one's names.
Tutelage, Uriel instructs him in astronomy and the laws of the cosmos. Enoch describes what he has been shown on the basis of his geocentric worldview, in which he pictured the Earth as flat and covered by a dome-like canopy. It is in those terms that he interprets what he is being shown, and yet the motif of a human being shown astronomy by an advanced being finds echoes elsewhere in the Hebrew tradition. The prophet Ezekiel describes his experience in more physical terms. The prophet Ezekiel reports an experience of being picked up in a flying craft. In his experience, a human-like pilot flies him around various cities of ancient Iraq before finally depositing him.
A fallen one drove him around all over the place until he put him back on the earth.
In Tel Aviv. In the past, scholars have assumed that Ezekiel was describing a vision. But might the writer have been describing something real and material, something that today we would call an alien abduction? Today, we would call an alien abduction. Something that today we would call an alien abduction.
The Book of Enoch and the Book of Ezekiel would be described as apocalyptic literature. Now, what apocalyptic literature means is that the writer has seen something that he doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know what it means. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And so, in essence, he simply reports what he saw and experienced because he knows it's significant and then wants the reader to unpack the significance of it.
Bam. Don't fall for no hijacks.